Now, a lot of people wanted me to write my book, but let's be real, man. Last night, I spent like 6, 7 hours editing my bro's book, Point Source. Maybe 7 or 8 hours. I don't even know, man. I'll give you one example, man. He spelled perfect like this: Pefect. Obviously, that's not how you spell perfect. And somebody got to fix all that shit, man. And who the fuck you think you're doing that? That's me. Then another time he spelled, uh, literally with one L. Everybody know that I got two L inside of it, man. I spent like 8, 9 hours editing that shit, man, and I exhausted literally. Then I spent like another 5 or 6 hours writing my book, man. So I don't know if I'm gonna be writing today or not, man. But if I get the right candy on the Twitter feed, then I might. Let's leave it like that. But editing is really hard work, man. Really hard work, man. It's like you cleaning up somebody else's mess. And I'm not saying my bro not a good writer, but let's say he got some learning to do. And yeah, I'll give you another example. I'll open up a document right now. I'll share talk about point source. I have spent hours, 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 man, yesterday uh, editing this, and and I'll give you another example of editing. My kind of editing. This is called value add. When you're adding value to a project. Like right here, there's an extra comma. You know, and this takes a really fine eye for detail, and when I do stuff like this, it's exhausting, man, mentally. Not physically, mentally. Taking a lot of my energy, man, a lot. And when you do that, it's actually more difficult to do that than it is to write your own book, man. And if I don't do it, if I don't do the editing, then who's gonna do it, man? Who's gonna do it, really? And this morning, I probably edited Point Source for like 2.5 hours, maybe, and then I wrote my book for like another 3 or 4 hours, probably. And it's not easy, man. It's not easy. And if I didn't have to edit Point Source, obviously I'd have a lot more energy, a lot more time to write my own book. But if I don't edit the Point Source, it's not going to make any sense, man. Literally, it's like a fucking if you can imagine, like you got this amazing book, but it don't make no sense. Really, that's what it is, unless I edit it. So I don't know, man. I don't know. I mean, frankly speaking, I'd rather write my own book than edit. But it's more fun to write your own book than to edit someone else's book. But when I see this many mistakes, here another example. I control the muses; they are mine, all mine. But he wrote it like this: I control the muses, comma, they are mine, all mine. You don't need this comma, man. And I gotta read everything like 5, 6 times, man. To get to that level where you know where comma belong and don't belong and all that. Ooh, Elizabeth want me to tell Elizabeth's story. Elizabeth, I could talk about her all day long. I mean, that woman is so beautiful, man. One time, we was walking down Sunset Boulevard or whatever the hell that's called, and I was supposed to be killing some guy from Italy, blah blah blah. And I said, Elizabeth, have you ever taken karate lessons? And she did this kick in the air, like a scissor kick. I said, what the hell was that? You did take karate. And she said, no, that's a ballerina drop, something like that. I said, oh, well, you one step away from being a karate expert, amazing. And I'll tell you something about ballet people don't realize. It's a very physically demanding sport, more so than the NFL where you got all these fat people running around in tights trying to hug each other. There's a lot more stress on the body from ballet, believe it or not, than from football. I mean, no, we're going to believe me, but that's true. But Elizabeth, amazing man, amazing girl. She's like very smart. And one time she wrote, she started some stupid website. It's about books. I don't know what it's called. It's like good books or some shit like that. And frankly speaking, man, if you're in that kind of a network or whatever, uh, you a nerd, man. But I'm not gonna get into all that right now. Let's talk about Elizabeth. One time she said, Tessa want me to tell Tessa a story. Hey, Tessa, I'm talking about Elizabeth, and Tessa, you're a nightmare. So why would I talk about you anyway? Anyway, getting back to Elizabeth. She was starting this website called Good Books, something like that, and then this pervert named Jeff Bezos bought it out, and he's a pedophile and all that, and Otis Chandler like to beat up Elizabeth and all this stuff and all that. I don't want to get into all that, but what the hell was I talking about? Oh, Elizabeth. So then I said, let's go to for a picnic, honey. And she said, no, I got to do this website, blah, blah, blah. I have to write a review of all these books I read. I said, well, how long is that going to take, She said, I got to do it all day long. I said, look, you can either do those books all day long or you can do me all day long. I'm making like a sexual inference, like obviously, if you know what I'm talking about. Most people don't know what I'm talking about. It's just subtle. No one knows what I'm doing these sexual innuendo. It's so subtle. And she said, well, after I do all these books, then maybe I'll have time to do you. And I said, really? Helen want me to tell a story about Helen. Helen, I wish I had a story about her. Sorry, honey. Anyway, getting back to Elizabeth. So I said, Elizabeth, listen, why don't you do these books? This blah, blah, blah. You have to do. Then I called Langley. I said, why don't you give me a list of books, that you have to read and you have to write this silly little report on, blah, blah. Inside of Langley, they have a book club. Really, it's a book club. And they all read books all day long. I actually saw this place with my own eyes. I couldn't believe it. And she gave me this list of books, like 75 or 80 books she had actually read, believe it or not. If you can imagine someone reading way over 80 books in her life, I really don't know why the hell you would read 80 books. I mean, if you think about it, man, what is a book, man? A book is a collection of words, okay? That's all it really is, man. So if you're really smart, what book you going to read? You're going to read the Google, man. You just type in a word and then see what the hell come up. That's a really smart way to read. That's what I do. Ross Perot want me to talk more about his chicken farm. Oh yeah, hold on, Ross. Let me talk about this Elizabeth chicken factory. Woody Harrelson, he wanted to be part of the chicken thing. Yeah, sure, Woody. I believe Woody's on the bench anyway. He's not doing nothing. So, but anyway, so I said, Elizabeth, give me a list of books that you got to do this nonsense for, blah blah. And she gave me a list, and it was in this thing called Microsoft Excel or some shit like that. And I said, this is a really big list of books. What the hell is this for? And she said, these are the books I read, when I was 17 to 18 or something like that. 17 to 19, I don't know what it was. I said, you read all these books, 17 to 19. And you was inside the Stanford, which is inside the Ivy League, one of the best schools. And she said, yeah. And I said, well, that's a lot of books, but let me see what I can do for you. And she said, what do you mean? I said, I bet you I can get you these book reports. And if I get you these book reports, then maybe you can do me. I kept saying that, do me. She didn't know what I was talking about, silly girl. This is called subliminal programming, by the way. It's an MK Ultra trick. And she said, if you can get all these book reports for me, then I will do you tonight. And then I said, wait a minute, did you just say you'll do me tonight? She said, 100% I'll do you tonight. And then I just hung up the phone, man. I didn't want to blow it. I didn't say bye, nothing. And she had sent me this thing on the list of books on this thing called email with an attachment. So then I called Langley headquarters. I said, hey, man, I'm working on this top secret project with the Russian KGB, blah, blah, blah. We buying a top secret ship with arms, tanks, helicopters, everything. But it's buried inside these books. I need the summary book reports ASAP. And they were like, holy shit, man. You got clearance? I said, are you fucking insane, man? This is a fucking major arms deal, man. I need this shit now. And they're like, oh, okay. So anyway, 30 minutes later, I got like 80 book reports. And then I sent it to Elizabeth. And she said, this is amazing. How did you do this? I said, when I was inside the Columbia University, I did a lot of reading on the side. And I was lying, but she didn't know that. And then I said, so, do we have a deal or what? And she said, yeah, let me give this to my nerd of a husband, who was the fiance at the time. And I'll tell him I'm going to go meet the girls for a drink. I said, perfect. I said, you want me to pick you up? She said, no, that'll be too obvious. I'll meet you at this place. I said, oh, okay, great. Let's do it. So then we went to Santa Barbara, man, really far away. And we get to Santa Barbara, and then I got a nice hotel room and all that. And, I was going to get her wasted, man. And unfortunately, she didn't drink. And then I ended up getting wasted. And then I paid for this nice hotel room over there inside of Santa Barbara. It was like a lot of money back then, like $300 a night. Back then I was like spending $800 a night. Now I think it's called a Four Seasons or something like that. Anyway, then I got too drunk, man. It was sunny, and then she had to drive me back. And I said, I passed out in the car, and then I ended up at the real bad P's house, whatever. And then I said, are we at the hotel? She said, what hotel? I said, what hotel? I said, don't you remember I got a hotel? And she said, no. I said, aren't you going to do me tonight? And she said, I already did you. So clever. So clever, man. She got me. She got me. Yeah, that's the whole story. Anyway, and then I lost $400, blah, blah. But, I almost got what I wanted. I was pretty damn close, frankly speaking. Molly wants me to talk about the time I almost did her. That's hilarious. I should forget about it. Melanie, Axel, when you talk about the time I almost did them together at once. No way, that's too much. But, looked like the CIA very upset I talked about the book thing. I had a CIA. There's a movie called 3 Days of the Condor. I believe it was in the 1940s. It's not a secret, man. Hilarious, man. Hilarious CIA. Oh, I see. The CIA said I hit a nerve. Okay.